All right, so this is our Monday morning briefing covering the weather for this week. Just up top, we'll say we've got a few things going on. We've got some freeze warnings and frost advisories, as well as an increased fire danger statement, and we'll cover all of that. Just to start us off here, do a brief overview of the weather pattern this week. So this morning we've got a cold front coming through, maybe a couple of spotty, very light showers on the eastern shore, but overall dry. And then as that high pressure builds in behind it, we're going to get some gusty winds out of the northwest during the afternoon today, if it hasn't picked up already. And then that high pressure remains in place going into tomorrow, tonight and tomorrow, and leading to more dry and probably mostly sunny conditions. Then as we head into the midweek, start to become slightly more unsettled. We've got a few frontal systems passing through Wednesday. Looks like we'll have a warm front and maybe a few showers. And then getting into the weekend, some more fronts and low pressure systems passing through. That might bring us some precipitation, but nothing drought busting, unfortunately. All right. Moving on here, starting up top with our freeze warning and frost advisories. With that high pressure moving in tonight, clear skies and light winds are going to help us help those temperatures really drop overnight. So we do have a freeze warning in effect for the Piedmont and a few of those northern counties east of 95, as well as the lower Maryland eastern shore. We've got those freeze warning in effect. And then we've got frost advisories east of 95, but only for the interior counties. And just an FYI, those freeze warnings, we may actually have to expand those. That'll be done by this afternoon. If it's still looking like this, it looks like some of this area along 95 and just east of it might actually drop out to freezing tonight. So be on the lookout for an expansion of those freeze warnings. And here's a look at temperatures. We've got upper 20s in the northwest, and then around freezing through the central portion of the area. Alrighty, and then moving on from the chilly temperatures tonight, we've also got an increased fire danger statement up today. Of course, as we know, it's been very, very dry, and with that cold front moving through today and those gusty winds behind it, and those dew points dropping, we're expecting humidity values between 20 and 30%. Could even see a few spots perhaps drop into the teens, and winds gusting to 20 to 25 miles per hour. And that goes from now until 8 p.m. tonight. Here's a look at that. So we've got we've got a table looking at those RHs and maximum wind gusts. I just realized that says southwest. It should say northwest. But we've got those gusty winds coming through today with gusts between 20 and 25 miles per hour. So, like I said, very dry. We do have a good chunk of the area in drought. Unfortunately, the front that came through yesterday didn't do a whole lot of good for us. It maybe wet the ground a little bit in a few spots, but this is what we got from the front that came through yesterday. As you see, it's overall less than 1/10 of an inch, so not doing as much good in terms of in terms of drought busting, unfortunately. This is the same drought monitor graphic from last week. Those are updated on Thursdays, so we'll be getting a new update later this week. But I do not expect it to improve, unfortunately. Zooming out here, looking at a state perspective, this is in terms of the coverage of D2 severe drought. This is now at its greatest level in almost 20 years. So this is pretty significant. Over 60% of the state is in D2 or higher. The current conditions are the worst thus far since drought onset last fall. And a little bit more perspective. So this is the 30-day and 90-day percent of normal. So we've got, looking at the left here on the 30-day percent of normal, got this swath of red here. That's 10 to 25%. So these areas, you interpret that as these areas have only seen 10 to 25% of the normal amount of rain that you would expect within the last month. And then looking at the last 3 months, looking at that 50 to 75% of rain that would be expected for this time of year. And just to, I think this is my last slide on the drought, just to give some perspective on how much rain we would need to end the drought within a month. And for our area, looking at 6 to 9 inches of rain in 1 month, which does not appear to be on the horizon, unfortunately. So that drought's really is sticking around for a while. We would need a lot of rain, 6 to 9 inches to end drought. And look, on that note, looking at what kind of precipitation we're expecting for the next week. So with those showers on Wednesday, that looks like very, very little, probably trace to maybe some spots see 1/10 of an inch, and that's mainly across the northern counties. And then in the weekend, when it turns a little bit more unsettled, a little bit more widespread, but still not a whole lot, probably looking at 1/2 inch or less for the weekend. And we'll just do a brief overview of the weather this week. Cooler today and tomorrow, relatively. Little below normal for this time of year. But still not terrible, looking at temperatures in the 60s. And then we're going to be warming up later this week with those warm fronts moving through the area. We'll be returning back to those above normal temperatures for the mid to late week period. And then Saturday, Sunday, a lot of that's going to depend on timing of showers and how much coverage we actually get. If it's drier, we'll probably be warmer, and then the opposite is true as well. If it's wetter, probably on the cooler side. And then as far as lows, tonight's probably our last night for at least the next week, where we'll have to worry about frost and freeze. And then for precip, dry for the first part of the week, a few showers Wednesday, and then you can see we turn a lot more unsettled as we move towards the weekend. And then to next week and beyond, looking at near to below normal temperatures, which normal temperatures for this time, or average temperatures, you could say, for this time of year is in the low to mid 70s. So probably looking at around that for the 8 to 14 day outlook here. And then for precipitation, maybe slightly above normal for the extended period. All right, switching gears into the marine. So we do have small crafts today for the bay. And then it kind of looks like, for the next few days, we could see those. We're looking at some gusty conditions over the nearshore waters, particularly for the bay and the rivers. An overview of that. So we have those gusty winds today out of the northwest. Get a little bit of a break on Tuesday during the afternoon, and then Tuesday night they pick up again, and then we go back to just regular breezy after Wednesday afternoon. And looking out past Wednesday and Thursday, looking at probably sub-small craft conditions Thursday and Friday. And then as of right now, it looks like it'll probably be breezy this weekend, but not quite to small craft conditions is what it looks like for the moment. And with wave heights, with those gustier conditions, we'll see up to 4 feet in the bay. Looking like sub-small craft in the, or below 5 feet, I should say, for those coastal waters for the next several days. Alrighty, I will pause on this summary slide and I can take questions. And if nothing's heard, everyone have a good week, and we'll talk to you on Thursday.